God Smuggler by Brother Andrew. This book takes place in Witt, Holland during the war with Germany in 1939. In God Smuggler, we are first introduced to Andrew, a teenage boy who lives in a small home with 7 family members. When Andrew was 17, he joined the Dutch army to try and help fight the Germans. Andrew was severely hurt in Indonesia and had to be taken to the hospital. While he was in the hospital, Andrew grew attached to all of the nuns that cared for him. He asked them one day why they were always so happy. The nuns replied by saying it was the love of Christ that made them happy. The nun began tapping the Bible next to Andrew's bed and said, "Here's the answers." One night back in Holland, Andrew couldn't sleep, so he decided to pray. He asked Jesus to forgive him for all of his sins and thanked Jesus for dying on the cross to forgive him for all of his sins. During the Cold War, the communists kept tight control of their borders and would not let anyone in. That did not stop Andrew. Andrew says that God called him to help all the Christians behind the Iron Curtain. When Andrew reached the first checkpoint on the other side of the Danube, he became very worried because the communists were looking for anything relating to God or Jesus, especially Bibles. Finally, they began searching Andrew's car, and he prayed for a miracle. He set 7 Bibles on the seat right next to him. They just looked at his passports and let him go. It was a miracle. Andrew said that his heart was racing, not that he had gotten through the checkpoint, but that he had gotten to witness one of God's miracles. Andrew continued smuggling Bibles into places like Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Hungary, and East Germany. At the end of the book, Brother Andrew says that he was going to try to visit all of the communist countries at least one time a year. I really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend this to any of my friends. It's a long book in case you needed it for any projects, and it is a great book to read. I had a lot of fun reading this book because it had a lot of real life, it was all real life situations, and people could relate to them in some ways. Brother Andrew was a very brave man. He had a lot of courage, even when people thought he was crazy. His first girlfriend just left him and saying that he wasn't sane in the head for believing in God and Jesus. He did not let that stop him, though. He listened to God and Jesus, and look what happened. He pushed through it all and is now a great man. He was a great missionary and helped many, 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 many people. He did many great things in his life, and he will always be remembered.